settling in. I love your t-shirt. Nevertheless, she persisted. Like, it's like this woman who comes to the Thursday morning classes, Donna, she said that when her husband makes some comment that is like stupid related to women or races or something like that, she says, I'm going to give you a 10-second head start. And that's the warning of like, you need to like back it up on that one. All right. So take a few moments to land, connect with your breath. Settle in. And notice, check out the body, how the body's feeling, particularly around the neck and shoulders. Our posture communicates so much, even when we don't realize it. My mother used to say she could tell when I was mad by the back of my neck. And you know, when you see someone you know well walking towards you and you say, oh, he or she's not happy, or oh, it must have worked out, or it must have gotten good news, because just the way they're moving, they're standing or moving. And particularly thinking about, we'll work a lot with the shoulders today, the shoulder and neck. As weather gets colder, certainly we hunch in more to warm, in a sense of trying to warm ourselves. And also, last week I spent way too much time on the computer writing a report I didn't expect or plan to have to write. And so my neck and shoulders were killing me. So I know those of you who are still spending too much time at the computer, yep, that's going to get you. The shoulder joint too, if you think about it, it is the most mobile joint in the body. It can move in all different ways, but it needs all the muscles and connective tissues around it to keep it stable. So we want a balance between mobility and stability. If you're too stiff, nothing moves, and then you have problems. If you're too mobile, you run the risk of injuring the connective tissue and the muscles around it. Just take a note of how your shoulders feel, how your neck feels. Draw your palms together in front of your heart center. One soft Om, inhale. Release the hands. Flutter the eyes open. I'll just turn up a little bit here. Okay. So we'll whirl out the neck first, but first we'll lie on the back and just take a little pretest, a scan of how the back connects to the floor, how the neck feels. If you're here and you're using the double tennis balls at home, if you don't have the double tennis balls, double lacrosse balls, or you have your baseballs, if you can hold them together back there. But here's a way that helps to hold them. If you take your blanket, this is how it comes off the stack, and you make just one fold. It's a tiny little fold, not even a roll. And either if you're using the two baseballs, soft baseballs that you have at home, or you can use the playground ball if you have that. But your shoulders are going to go here on the floor. They're not up on the blanket, but this blanket just keeps the balls from rolling around and taking trips you don't want them to take. See if I can navigate. All right, so if you're using the double balls, either the baseballs, tennis balls, lacrosse balls, find them right up high on the occipital ridge there, right at the base of the hairline. If you're using the one playground ball, you put the one playground ball fairly high up the neck so the chin is down. In any case, our chin is down, the forehead is up. I have the balls on the blanket if you want. and a little bit of a roll that just keeps them, yeah, it just keeps the blanket just keeps them from traveling. Hang on just a minute. Let me get this. Yeah, lift your hair. There you go. Come on back. Yeah, right there. And that way you don't have to scoot them around. And knees can be bent or your legs can be long if that doesn't strain the back, whatever's comfortable. You can knock the knees together in constructive rest, something that takes any sort of pull or tension off the back. And then slowly make a yes motion. So tip the chin down and then lift the chin, rolling back and forth, whether you're on the double balls or the playground balls. And I encourage you to experiment with, especially if you're at home, you've got the whole set and you're not quite sure what you want. Just experiment, see what feels good. So you're saying yes, rolling over the back, right at the base of the skull, a little bit down the neck. And then turn the head to say no. So turn the head to look one side slowly, very slowly. And if you pair the movement with the breath, it will slow you down. Inhale as you come to look straight up at the ceiling. Exhale as you turn to look to one side. And then think of your nose has a pencil pointing straight up to the ceiling and draw a circle with the pencil on your nose. One way, you can go clockwise or counterclockwise, doesn't matter. And notice if there's a point at which, if you're thinking of the face of the clock on the ceiling, do you cut? Like I was just noticing that I tend to draw a straight line from 1 to 3, a little harder to go around. See if you can keep it round and look way up behind you, making a big, big circle with the pencil. And then reverse the circle. Just notice if there's a place where you catch and you don't have as much arc, as much freedom in that movement. And the next time you come through center, pause and just rest. Remove the balls and put the head back down. Oh, first of all, just notice the flooding of sort of a sense of warmth. And the head is more easily back into the back body. Then you can move the blanket out of the way and slide the balls. Here's where at home, if you have the two baseballs, or if you've got 2 tennis balls, whether they're in the sock or not, but just place them at the base of your neck, right at the top of the shoulders. You may want to slide a little bit of a blanket under the crown of the head if it feels like it's too much of an arc, but you're clearly, oh, and I didn't tell you to have a block near you. Do you need some help to get a block near you? Grab a block. Here, oh, sorry. All right, so it's about right at C7, which is the bone that sticks out. Patricia was asking, where is it? So about where the little knobby bone that sticks out, that's cervical vertebrae 7. So it's about on either side of that vertebrae. Oh, to a point, far enough down that you feel it pushing into the muscles at the top of the trapezius. Trapezius is so instrumental in how the shoulder works, how it doesn't work. And then a little range of movement. So with the fingertips on the forehead, the elbows bent and pointing towards the ceiling. Do a little butterfly with the elbows, just opening the elbows, fingertips stay on the head, and then closing. Maybe the elbows touch, maybe they don't. Now, if you're saying, well, this feels okay, but it doesn't feel like I'm doing a whole lot, take your trusty block, put it under your hips on the low level. Oh, and that will throw more of your weight down onto the balls. And then do the range of motion again. You can move your arms in any way. It can be symmetrical, asymmetrical, cross the body, like hug yourself, and then open and hug and open. And then move the balls down about another inch. So they're well onto right just above where the diagonal line of the shoulder blade starts to come together. Breathe here first. I'm hearing no moaning yet, so we'll get to you. If it's too intense to have your hips up on the block, remove the block and it will take some of the weight off the balls. And then, oh yeah, a little bit of arm range of motion studies. What happens in very slow? You can move the arms up and down. So you're keeping the hips and the legs still, just the arms are moving. And cross the body, like give yourself a hug and open out. Oh. Anybody feeling this but me? Okay, just checking. They're so quiet. Screaming on the inside. Well, yeah, screaming. Oh. And maybe make some slow circles with your elbows, one way and then the other. Oh. Oh, yeah. Come off the block and roll the balls down one more notch. So where you are is, get up here, the bottom tips of here, your shoulder blades, you can feel the little chicken wings coming together. You're right there, the bottom. So right behind the sternum, head's on the floor. And you can decide, it may be more or less intense if your hips are up. So you decide if one helps. I think here, if the hips are higher, it's less intense. Oh. And then range of motion studies here. Arms akimbo, arms work. Oh, try hugging, that's pretty intense. I'm expecting some moaning here. I'm not getting it. There, I got a little one. Okay. And arms overhead and then down by your side. Oh. For me, this is right at the point that's most excruciating. Oh. And then with your arms down, just shift your ribs, just your ribs, not your legs, your ribs side to side. So you're rolling side to side over the muscles, down the infraspinatus muscles down either side of the spine. And then take it out and lie flat. And part of the good feeling is just the release from the pain. Not pain, high sensation. We have euphemisms here. And roll over. Sit up. And just take, if you've got a single ball, that's fine. If you've got the double one, and press into this pectoralis, major and minor, right in here. It's a triangle just under the shoulder blade to the sternum, not on the breast tissue, and to the armpit right there. So you're pressing right in here, not as much on the top of the shoulder, but more right where the armpit's meeting right here. And you can take both hands and give yourself a push. You can do this against the wall too at home if you want to press against a wall. So the pecs here are really involved, and release, and just notice that that side, even though the back is rolled out, that side is even more open, because when the pecs are contracted, then we cannot keep the head of the arm bone back. So it's important to keep those open. Change sides. Huh? Yeah, it is huge, isn't it? We think that it's all shoulders. So when people are trying to do, it's like, I figured I kind of figured it out, but when I would work with Jerry to get him, because he tends to be a little kyphotic with head thrust forward, and his tango teacher's always after him to get his head back. Well, he takes his head back, but his shoulders are still forward, right? So that's not going to last very long. So he's going to dump forward. Even when we start to move this way, he'll stay there about a nanosecond because these muscles are so chronically tight that they pull you. All right, we could rub out all day, but we're going to move on. All right. So come to sit like a comfortable, not quite a 90-90, but more of what they call sort of mermaid. We're sitting on your left bum with the knees. You can sit up on a bit of a blanket. I find that helpful. And stretch out. The left hand is down. You can even put the left forearm down if you want, left forearm, and reach out as far out towards the left as you can. And the outer right hip is moving back away from the direction you're reaching. And then come down on the forearm if you're not already and open up, open the heart to the ceiling, a side stretch. I can take the fan on, Michelle, anytime you want. And then reach around and twist to the back. So you're just reaching around, a little mermaid twist to the back. There you go. And change sides. I know, get caught up there. All right, open up, there you go. And then come all the way up and sit and twist. There you go. All right, come on down. You can come onto your forearms, the right forearm if you wish, and stretch up and over. And roll the outer left hip away from your rib cage. You can even press into the inner left knee a little bit to get that feel. And then open up to the ceiling, open a little twisty back bendy thingy. And then sweep around and twist towards the back foot, the left foot. All right. And come around, come on to hands and knees. Plant your hands, tuck your toes, shift your hips back and lift into an easy dog and walk out your dog. Slowly noticing the calves might be tight, so don't strip them. Slowly pedal out. And walk your feet mat width apart. Bend your knees as you walk back to a chair pose, a half chair pose. Put the forearms on your thighs. Knees are trying to track right on top of your ankles as best you can by shifting your weight into your heels. And then the bum is way back as you reach the arms out for cantilever balance. Curl the upper body up a little bit. Oh yeah. And push down on your inhale. All right. Find the ball of your choice to roll out. The little black charcoal one is nice. Which one do you have? The green one or the black one? Yeah, any of those. Well, those are a little too soft. Do that one. Yeah. Yeah. So the little hard charcoal one or the mean greenie is good. I like the mean greenie. Do you want this one? Yeah. Okay. All right. So you're pressing, starting. Most of you know this, but you're starting. So keep one part of your foot always on the floor, either the heel or the toe, depending on what part you're working. Start at the top of the foot where near the toes and press down at the base of each toe on the ball of the foot and just hold and press. So it's more of a, rather than a roly, it's a press. And then roll to the next knuckle and press. Breathe. Notice if you hold your breath with this, it's not uncommon. What? I'm getting the feeling. I said I can get. No, I like rolling on that ball too. It's just different. It's just different. And then start to work. You can try either, but I like the spiky one, and this one's nice too. Try that one. that has a little bit of spikes, but not quite as hard as the other one. Again, I like them all. They all give you something. And this little spot, the bubbling spring, where the plantar fascia attach here, can be quite intense. So if we're talking about shoulders and neck, why am I paying so much attention to the feet? Because if the feet and the legs are out of alignment, it's near on impossible to get the upper body in alignment. Like you can do it for a second or two, but if the feet, legs, and hips are all whopper jawed, and I've done this where I've just had people, especially kyphotic people with a rounded in the back and head thrust, work their feet and then engage the feet and legs to stand, they can take care of about 75% of that forward thrust once you've got the shoulders kind of rubbed out and released. Keep working now to the center of the foot. Yeah, take a breath and yeah, right. And then roll a little bit to the side, right at the center of the arch. I like to work the inner arches and the outer arches. Those can get quite tender there. Kind of like stepping on a pebble for a moment. Then start to work towards the back, towards the front of the heel, right there where the plantar fascia connect, right here at the, before the heel gets callousy, tough. Not that any of your feet are tough, but mine are tough. So that tends to be the tougher part, tougher skin. Yeah, and that can be quite intense. So go easy, don't give yourself a shock. And then press out the heel. So which do you like? Do you like the little nubby one?
I do like.
Yes, I like the smaller nubby one. I've done it. I did it for years on that one, and then Ellen showed me the little smaller nubby one, and I'm kind of partial to that now. I switch my allegiances quickly. So, and the nice thing about the smaller nubby one, I'll do it with this one even though, is that then you can stretch your toes, like take it between the toes and push down. So it's like pulling the toes back, right? Giving them a nice pull right there.
One that REI called rugs are
Yeah.
easy,
Mm-hmm.
and it's basically like this.
Yeah, they cost more when they sell them that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I've been using those for years from long distance running.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. For running, they're really good for runners. All right. So before you switch to the second foot, stand and notice what's different. And if you do a little easy forward bend, we're not that warmed up. So engage the feet, engage the legs, and tilt forward until you feel the hamstrings engage, and notice which leg is a little more willing to stretch, right? The foot you just were. So it's that issue. Come on up and change sides. It's the foot, it's the back fascial chain. It starts on the bottom of the feet and it's connective tissue all the way up the back to the eyebrows. So sometimes when you're working your feet, you sometimes feel a little ping up different parts of the body. So just breathe as you go. Put the weight on. This is, yeah, Mary.
I remember when I tore my
Sure.
I had a headache. The back of my head just hurt, and the fascia chain just.
Yeah. So Sherry had this really horrible injury. She tore her gastrocnemius, the calf muscle. I mean, she was in a boot for a long time, and she's fit, and but she just blew it out. We all can do it. And she said she had a headache, and that makes sense that it's coming up the back fascial chain. And so because of the trauma in the calf, it was sending it up and down. Work to the center. Oh, inner arch on this side. Interesting. Oh, I know, right? I'm telling you, you can just stand here and do this. That's why it's good to have one of these somewhere where you, like, I'm thinking the kitchen where you're waiting for the coffee to make or the water to boil or something to happen. But the problem is if you have dogs, you have to, you have to be really careful because they can swallow these little suckers depending on how big they are. But that's where you'll just find yourself letting the water boil and boil. And so it's lulling you, right? It kind of makes you. And so this is really nice to do before bedtime. It's good to do first thing in the morning. It wakes you up, stimulates you, but it also calms you down, oddly enough. Yes. I know.
And now it hurts.
I know. Michelle was saying that if you do it all the time, it doesn't hurt as much. But if you've laid off a while and you haven't done it, it's pretty intense. And that's why we have the different size balls, because if somebody's really super tender, we can keep going to a softer ball. You can do it on a tennis ball. All right, finish up. It's hard to get them. No hurry. Just take your time.
I find doing ball work before I go to bed, I sleep so well.
Doing ball work before bedtime is good. You know, I was having, when I was sitting all week and I was a little tense from getting this report done, and I was just pushing and pushing. I wasn't getting as much exercise as I was getting. I had that horrible calf cramp when I woke up one morning, and it was sore for 4 days. Like it hurt to walk in some cases, had to warm it up. I could not sleep one night. I just woke, and by 2:30, I almost never get up. I got up and rolled out on the balls, the feet, the calves, the back. And then I was just out and down. It was, yeah, it will really release you. Should have done it before I go to bed. All right, take your happy feet. Whoa, fall into the wall. I know, I just stubbed my toe. Step to the top of your mat. You can either take your strap or your, if you can interlace the hands behind the back, do that. And stand well. Lift the head of the arm bones, roll the head of the arm bones back. So you are squeezing the shoulder blades together, and now extend. And notice the bottom ribs want to pop out. So you're going to pull them in, draw them back, and still take the head of the arm bones back and curl back. So the legs are strong. You're not collapsing in the low back. It's all upper body. And release. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, prepare and step your left leg back straight like lunge. Spin the back foot down, come up to a warrior one. Interlace the hands and, or actually Anjali Mudra, press the palms together, extend the fingers and pull them behind your head. Push your head into the back, kind of your wrist, and squeeze your elbows towards each other, even as you're pulling up. Now bend your front knee again because it straightens for me. Work the outer edge of the back foot. Oh, and come out, spin out to a warrior two. And reverse the warrior. Oh. Again, place the right hand to the back of the head, half beach babe. Push your head into your hand, take your head back, point your elbow, arc it back towards the wall behind you. And the left hand is pulling the inner left thigh up and back. Bend the front knee straight, nice. And come back out. Come into Parsvakonasana, side angle, right elbow to the right thigh. Now before you twist, lengthen. So push down through the legs and lengthen up through the spine. Tailbone lengthens, belly button pulls up and in. Spin the ribs up towards the ceiling. Spin the ribs, and then turn the head gently. Take the top arm and wrap it under you and see if you can reach for your inner right thigh. That's just a direction, intention. Release, windmill the arms down, come back to down dog. Oh. And steady in your dog. Even here, you're pulling the back of the armpits up and draw the bottom tips of the shoulder blades together, even as you're broadening the top of the shoulders. And next, inhale, step your left foot forward, straight like lunge. Lower the back heel down, foot's at an angle. Steady up. So the back foot does not have to be directly behind the front foot. That's the classic position, and it certainly can be that. For a little bit better balance, I take my right foot a little bit out to the side and turn the foot in a bit. It helps with my the hip rotation back there. So find your place, come up, hands together, oh, behind the head. Now steady the legs, push the head into the hands and squeeze the elbows towards each other. Bend your front knee and work to the outer edge of the back foot. Now try to square your hips a little bit more, not totally square, and then square your shoulders towards the short edge of the mat. Oh. Push back, curl back. Oh. And then unwind, warrior two. Reverse warrior, take hold of the inner edge of the back thigh. Half beach babe on the front, keep your side ribs quiet. I'm saying that because mine are starting to poke out. Push your head into your hand, bend the front knee more, work the outer edge of the back foot, and curl back, curl back, curl back. And then come into Parsva Konasana. Side angle first, the hands on the hip. Steady the legs, pull up and into the core of the pelvis, and then push out at with the same energy. Spin the ribs without rolling the front knee in. And then the top arm, oh, this one doesn't want to go. Just bring it behind your back. Whew, a little cramp there. Or maybe reach for some part of your left leg. Windmill the arms down, come back to down dog. Shift forward, plank pose. Hug the shoulder blades on the back. Soften between the shoulder blades, not pinching. Pull the bottom tips of the shoulder blades closer together. Broaden the tops of the shoulder blades apart. And lower down, either full chaturanga, face plant, or knees, chest, and chin. All right. Cross your right forearm across and rest your forehead on your right arm, hand. Stretch the left arm like you're raising it overhead. And before you start to move the arms, steady the legs. So I like to widen my feet a little wider apart. It gives me a little more freedom in the back. Click all 10 toenails down, pull up from the heels to the glutes, keep that, and then send down from the front of the thighs down to the toes. That'll keep you busy. Belly button tries to lift away from the floor. It won't go, but try to lift it up. Side ribs lift away from the floor. Then make a gentle fist with your left hand, not a killer fist, and the thumb up, like you're saying, thumbs up. Lift the left arm and lift it first, or put it back down, sorry. Pull the shoulder blade on the back. So plug the head of the arm bone into the shoulder socket more. And then lift from there, so you're using the back muscles to lift. And then open the arm out, keep the thumb pointing to the ceiling as best you can, so the arm's about shoulder height. Then turn the thumb down and the thumb back. Pull it behind your back, like someone was holding their arm back there. Work it up. Keep the head of the arm bone as lifted as possible. Then pull the elbow up and move the arm back through to overhead with the start position. Try it again. Snug the shoulder blade on the back, hug the head of the arm bone into the shoulder socket. Open out to the side just before the thumb wants to turn, keep it there. Then rotate the thumb down and back. Keep the head of the arm bone lifted and plugged in. Pull it back behind you and up. Now lift the elbows sort of grasshopper style, pull it palm side down and stretch it out. Release. Whew, change sides. All right, rest your forehead on your left arm, right arm overhead. Again, set your legs, set your core, tailbone down, belly button up and in, spread the toes. All right, pull the head of the arm bone back into the shoulder socket so the armpit lifts away from the floor, the hand's still on the floor. Make a gentle fist, thumbs up with your right arm. And with the head of the arm bone plugged in and the armpit lifted, then lift from the muscles in the back. Open out to the side. Rotate the thumb down and then back. And pull it back behind you. Oh. And then lift the elbow towards the ceiling and pull the palm side down, the fist palm side down as you pull the arm back up to starting position, thumb up. Rest the hand on the floor again. Now, lift the armpit, the right armpit, hug the shoulder blade into the spine, into the back. The head of the arm bone plugs into the shoulder socket. See that in your mind's eye. Don't let the head of the arm bone move away from the shoulder socket. Now lift the thumb up, the fist up. Rotate out to the side. Keep pulling the shoulder blade, the head of the arm bone into the shoulder socket. Rotate thumb down, then thumb back. Keep the head of the arm bone lifted even as you rotate back and bring it back behind you. Keep the head of the arm bone lifted. Then lift the elbow, pull it palm side down and back out. So if you do that, it's kind of a lot. You feeling it? Good. All right. Place your palms down under your shoulders. Shrug your shoulders. Lift the head of the arm bones way away from the floor before you even start to lift the upper body. And then the upper body rolls up. Keep the head of the arm bones back. What a lot of people do in Cobra is they will overcompensate and round forward. So it's better to stay low and lifted and tuck your toes, down dog. And walk your hands back to your feet. Wide-legged air chair. Reach for it, baby, reach for it. Ask for someone to help pull you up. Pull the shoulder blades on the back and then push down as you rise up. Relief. Find your strap. And we'll do a little flossing here. Get close enough here. All right. Where even though on this side I can barely almost touch my fingers, I'm going to come away. I'm going to have to pull your hair out on this one. Come away so I have a little bit of room to pull up and a little bit of room to pull down. So this hand is pulling this arm back. This one's pulling this one down. Does that make sense? So one, going to pull one down, one up, one down, one up, and see which one you have less and more movement on, right? And take your time. It doesn't have to be fast. Yeah, you're trying to, yes, the arms are trying to move up and down the spine, but there will be a little bit of this going on. But do your best to go, I'm knocking my sound off here, straight up the spine. All right. And then, oh yeah, let's do the other side. I did the other side because I demonstrated on one and the other, but yes, do the other side. Absolutely. So you would be on, yes, your left shoulder. And you might feel the hair really gets in the way there. Lift and pull, pull in. So you're slowly moving up and down as best you can without throwing the head forward. I know that's the hard one, right? Because it's like, what am I doing here? Oh, yeah, this will warm you up, right? Get the shoulders going. Paul, I know you think this class is all about you, but it might be. I was thinking of you actually as I was putting it together. You may want this. We'll do the baby dancer. So if you want baby dancer, I would say, and you're going to use a strap, face a wall so you have something to lift to, and then actually pulling it overhead. That's pretty interesting for all of us, actually. Take the strap and kind of make a fairly good, actually I would, for these long straps, I'd cut them in half, fold them in half, not cut, and then fold it here. All right, go to the wall, face the wall. Put the strap around the top of the right foot, then pull it over like a knapsack, right? Oh. So the elbow's pointing up. Hug the knee in towards the midline. It wants to wing out. That will give you relief, but hug it in and push the foot into the strap and maybe kick the foot back. And if you do, walk the fingertips up the wall. Keep lifting the chest, don't look down. Kick the foot. And release. What do you think? I found that to be nice on the shoulder as well. All right, try it again on the second side. Huh? It's an opener, yeah. So be sure that your knee, the bent knee wants to wing out to the side. So it's better not to lift it too far behind you. There you go. Now spread your toes, Michelle, really spread the toes. Curl your toes back, like spread them and curl them. There you go, happy feet. There, that will protect your knee. Don't lock your standing leg, Michelle. There you go. Good, nice. And then kick it back. I need to do it on this side now. Oh. Wow. That gives me more of a stretch on my quadricep than if I hold the foot. And it works the shoulder. All right, release if you haven't already. All right. Okay, heel trip over. So take a block, place it at the top of your mat, and you'll hold it between your palms. But the baby finger side is on the floor. Now notice sometimes the wrist, the outer wrist will pull away from the floor and you want to connect the whole arm, not pulling down. So press the block, hug the elbows in, walk the knees back, soften between your shoulder blades and take the heart back toward your knees so the forehead can rest on the floor between your elbows. Keep pressing the block and pull the shoulder blades down the back. Good. That's stage one. Come up and relax, shake it off. You can stop at any bus stop that you want here. We'll keep going. The next one is lifting into a dolphin or a praying dog kind of thing. So pressing the block, keep the press. You notice how that makes the arms work. The elbows are a little kind of outer shoulder width apart, not too wide, not too narrow. Walk your knees back, shift back, but lift your head to look straight down at the floor. And lift your hips, keep the knees bent, push into the block, push into the forearms, into the floor, and take the heart back. You want the shoulders to be well behind the elbows, a diagonal in the upper arm. Yeah, nice. Keep, but don't drop the head. So you're looking down at the floor. So a little bit of a cobra back, not by pinching the neck, but by pulling the shoulder blades through. Now, if you want, bring your feet close together and lift one leg, but square the hips. So if I'm lifting my left leg, the outer left hip has to roll down towards the floor. Stretch the right heel towards the floor. Woo! Anybody but me feeling this? God, you guys are so quiet. Ah, and come down. I have to rest in between those. You can change to the other side if you need to come down, or if you can stay and come up. Oh. So you really have to work the shoulders on this. Square the hips with the lifted leg. Oh. And then the heel goes, closer to the floor, maybe not to the floor. No ripping, tearing, shredding. Oh. And release. Rest in child's pose. Roll over on your back. Have your strap near you and your block near you, a block near you. Now, when we're down for a final relaxation, we'll do a fish pose, but if you want, you might figure out how to use the balls again under your neck, but I think you'll be fine. Okay, come on down. The knees bent, feet on the floor. Tilt, rock the hips. So you're doing cat-cow here. As you pull the heels isometrically towards you, the back waist pulls off the floor. As you push the feet isometrically away, your back waist presses into the floor. So back and forth, rocking the hips, front to back, top to bottom. And the next time you pull the heels towards you and your back waist is off the floor, a little more hyper arched, more arched than you need, keep that. Keep the sits bones dropping down towards your heels. Pull the belly button in towards the back waist, reducing the distance of the back waist to the floor by about half. Side ribs move down towards the floor. Oh, that should get your core going. And put the strap around the sole of the right foot. Then slide your hands down the strap so the back of your upper arms, your elbows come to the floor, push into your elbows, lift your shoulder blades a little bit and snuggle them underneath you. Keep the side ribs trying to move down without smashing the low back. So it's a counter movement that keeps you stable. And breathe here. Do a little bit of outer rotation in the right leg so the outer right hip moves away from your right armpit. An option is to stretch the left leg long and try to tilt your hips enough so that the back of the left leg can get closer to the floor, back of the thigh. And outer rotate the right leg and inner rotate from the thigh bone. Just as we work the shoulder socket, we're working right into the hip socket. It doesn't have to be a big inner outer, just enough that you notice that you can do it. And take the ends of the strap into the right hand, both of them. And keeping the left side stable, before you move the right leg out, notice that your weight is even on the back of both sides of your sacrum. As you start to move the right leg out to the right, the left sacrum will get lighter. So pause and ground the left side of your sacrum back down. And then open a little bit more. You have to work through the standing leg to do that. And the inner, sort of obliques on the left side. So make this a core work. You don't have to take it out far, but you're keeping the left leg and the left side of your sacrum stable. Once you get it out, not too far, but about maybe, I don't know, what is that, 2 o'clock? And then pull the toes towards your right ear. So you're not trying to get it all the way to the floor, just out to the side a little bit and pull the toes to your ear. And then bring back up to the center. Bend your left knee, little inner rotation of the right leg and just cross the thighs over each other. Yeah, it's not a big, you're not switching all the way to the side. You're just, the owl. We got an owl. It's the IT band. So the outer right hip, keep moving it down to the floor, even as you're moving the foot over a little bit towards the left. Then come back up, stretch both legs out long, and notice the difference. Whew. The other one is quivering in anticipation. So let's put it at ease here. Bend your knees. Lasso the left foot. I think I've mentioned that I never used the word lasso the whole 18 years I taught in DC. Just saying. Not sure they would have known what it was. All right. So settle in, tilt your sits bones towards your heel, your right heel, so you get an arch in the low back. Pull the belly button down, side ribs down, but keep the back waist up. So you want to keep the hips tilted. And then stretch the right leg long. That will help you get the back of the right thigh closer to the floor. The right foot is engaged. The right toes are flexed and spread like you're standing on them. Right leg is working a lot. Then a little inner rotation, outer rotation. Inner rotate, little bitty one, just a little turn in the hip socket. Slowly just noticing, where do you feel the most sensation? It can be quite tiny. As soon as you feel some sensation, you just hang there. Don't go crazy. Then a little bit more outer rotation, not huge. With the left elbow, wrap both straps around the left hand. Outer rotate the left leg, but go slow because this right leg is still working. You're pressing through the sole of the right foot. The toes are working. You're keeping the right bum grounded. It's heavy. Get it heavier. Pull with the right obliques back down, the side ribs back down. Open out to the side. And then when you get to a point, just pull the toes towards your left ear. To get a good inner thigh stretch and a hamstring stretch. Inhale your way up. Bend your right knee. Rock your right knee into the midline, inner rotate the left leg and just pull it across midline, not much. Relax your arm down so your arms are not pulling away from the shoulder socket. Your back of your elbow is on the floor. And the outer left hip moves away from your rib cage, away from your belly. Oh, this one is particularly interesting. So it's not far. And release both legs long. Stretch your arms overhead. And bend your knees. Cross your left leg all the way over the right, like you're crossing your legs sitting up in a chair. Now keep the feet down by your hips, but draw the knees up towards your chest so you can hold on right at the top of the shins. Slide your hands down your shins to hold the outer ankles. Now wake up the feet, spread the toes, pull the baby toe. It's hard to figure out where it goes here, not to sickle the feet. Pull the baby toe side of the foot back towards your outer knee. Now pull your ankles towards your chest, but let the knees come away from your chest. So you get your low back curve back, correct? Belly button down. Now keeping that, press the shins up towards the ceiling. So you're doing a lot of counter moves here. The knees are moving away from the chest. The arms are trying to drag the ankles toward your shoulders. Oh, and your low back is staying up. You're tilting the hips. And the shins are pressing up towards the ceiling. Ride that Harley. Oh, and then release the feet back down. Keep the legs crossed. Open the arms wide. And rock the leg unit over to the right. The right hand can take hold of the outer left knee, kind of help it down, and do a nice twist here. You can also put a block under the leg unit if that helps. But keep both shoulder blades down, particularly the left one. That's the one that gets light. Rotate the ribs to the left and cast an easy, gentle gaze to the left. And inhale your way back up to center. Ooh, feet on the floor. Cross your right leg all the way over the left leg. Then keeping the feet down, just draw the knees up so the hands can be on top of the shins. Then slide your hands down the shins somewhere along the outside of the leg, maybe towards the ankle, maybe not. And then wake up the feet. That helps the knees. Spread the toes and pull. See if you can figure out how to pull the baby toe back towards your outer knees. That keeps you from sickling. Now, as you're pulling the ankles towards the hips, let the knees come away from the chest so the back waist comes off the floor. Keep that. And as you keep trying to pull the ankles towards your shoulders, lift the feet to where the shins come maybe parallel to, oh my gosh, to the floor. Shins are pressing up. You're pulling the ankles. The feet are awake and happy. You're pulling the knees away from you. Your back waist is off the floor. So much going on. And let the feet come down. Open the arms in a T position. Drop the legs over to the left. The left hand can hold the outer right knee. Both shoulder blades on the floor. Right shoulder blade really sinks into the floor. Right ribs or the ribs rotate to the right. Easy gaze to the right. Some part of maybe your left foot's the only thing that's touching the floor, or your right foot. The knees don't, for most of us mere mortals, don't come that close to the floor unless you're super open in the hips. And inhale your way up, hug the knees in. Roll over and set yourself up in a restorative fish pose. So this block on its lowest level is on your shoulder blades are on here. And this block here, it can either be up or down, but not too high, is right at the back of the head. And then Michelle, you can pop the fan off with your super duper. Isn't that cool? Just hit the top one. There you go. And settle in. Get the lights off. You can cover up if you are cool. The arms rest out as far away from the side as you want. It can be close or far away. And the shoulder blades should feel pretty evenly flat on the block. You can lift one and scrunch it under you and then lift the other and put it down if you want to do a little bit of wiggling and adjusting. And then once you do that, you release all efforting. Settling in. Scan the body to see if there's some residual tension holes, and send the breath to the part of the body that you want to release a little bit more. Soften the throat, relax the jaw. The lips are soft, the back teeth are slightly parted. The eyeballs settle back into the cradle of the eye socket as all the muscles around the eyes release and soften. The space between the eyebrows, the third eye center, softens all the way into the center of the skull. Forehead and scalp softening. Begin to deepen your breath. Invite gentle movement into your fingers and toes, hands and feet. And stretch your arms and legs. Stretch the face either by yawning or making a face. And then being mindful that you're up on blocks, bend your knees and roll to one side. You can use a block under your head to rest on the side if you wish, or your arm or whatever's comfortable. And take these few precious moments before you transition into the rest of your day to draw in the benefits of your practice. And rolling a little more towards the floor, use the strength of your arms to push yourself up to a seated position and sit well. Do a quick body, mind, spirit scan, the body, how the shoulders and the neck feel, and how that affects your mind, the quality of your mind and your spirit. Draw your palms together in front of the heart center. Namaste. Namaste.